Good morning, everyone, and happy time zone. So, last video we had to take a little bit of a side track because our shape keys weren't working. And well, today I want to actually start on the animation blueprint as we were supposed to last video. Let's start off with going to our Riff SDK. So with our plugins folder for our avatar, select your skeleton, right click, go to create, and in blueprint, name it ABP underscore Suraya. ABP is short for animation blueprint. All right, let's double click it and see what we have. So we have an output pose here. You have your anim graph and your event graph. Let's first attach our rigid body, which we have created, the physics body, to our model. Right click, input pose. Yes. So we'll just drag it there, right click again, rigid, can't spell, rigid body. And then we'll just connect this little stick figure with that one. And you get automatic conversion local to component. And just, place it in the middle. Make it look, well, I like straight lines, but that's totally optional. So now if we compile, nothing will happen, which is good because it doesn't break anything. So we select our rigid body and we're going to adjust some settings here. First of all, select the physics asset that we have created. And for the hair physics, fizz bones, whatever we shall name it, we are just going to crunch some numbers. So 0.2, 0.5, 0.7. And these we're all going to put 0.2. So again, I have just used this from another tutorial. I don't exactly know what they mean. So then that should be everything we want to have for the rigid body. So compile and save. As it happens, my character does have a sort of neutral shape key, which is her resting face, so to speak, which I did not implement in the base body. I made a separate shape key for it. To make sure that is always activated, we will just drag out the output pose a little bit. Right click, go to modify curve. Modify curve. So again, attach the stick figures. And then here we will, let me see. Right click, add curve. And for some reason it has all of these. We will just look for neutral. And we will put neutral at 1. So apply, compile and save. And now it will automatically put that shape key at 1 always. So this is a very basic animation blueprint setup for her. I do think we need to do one other thing. We'll go to the skeleton mesh and scroll down. And we have a post-processing animation blueprint. And we can add our blueprint here. Save. save your project. And if that's all you want to do, then that's it. But I have all these shape keys here. Wow. All right. And yeah, I want to use them to make a blink controller and an eye movement, which is well, going to be a little bit more advanced, but I will attempt to recreate it with you. So the rest of the video will be dedicated to that. All right, so let's start with blinking. For that, we will go to the event graph, and these two we will not be using, but I will just leave them there. And we will start with event blueprint initialize animation. So let's just search for it and add it in. I'm just going to move her out of the way a little bit to make some more room here. So we will start with adding a custom event, which we will then name close lid. From this here, the red square, we will drag it out and we will say set timer by event. If you hold Alt, you can unattach this one. We'll drag this one out and we will say promote to variable. And this variable we will call close handle. And you will see the variable will be added here. Now, full disclosure, this blinking setup I also did not create on my own. I used a tutorial for it as well. Yeah, I basically use tutorials for everything. But well, since this is a series, I think I should include it. Nightfall is the one that showed me how to do this basically. So all credits go to him. So drag out the arrow and say do once. All right. So here we will put the timer at 0.01. We want it to be looping. All right. So when this event is called, we will make a branch, which basically is just an if statement. And this branch will determine if our state is true or false. And we need a condition for it. So for this condition, we are going to our variables here and we are going to add a variable, make it a float, and we will call it blink value. Blink value. We will drag in our blink value and we will say get. So basically this blink value will be the same as our closed eyes shape key. So we need to do some math on this one. So we will say greater than. So we are going to check if the blink value is greater than 1. And we will use this as a condition. So we will check if the blink value is greater than 1. And if it is, then this if statement, the branch will be true. And we will say clear and invalidate timer by handle. And the handle, which we will use, is the one that we have set here. So if we drag this one in here and we say get handle, we have the handle here. So. So if this blink value is 1, we will basically say that this timer will be cleared and invalidated. So it will be turned off. And then we will go in here, and this one will be in our reset. So once the blink value is 1, we want it to do something once, and that is another set timer by event. And for this, we will make another custom event, which we will call open lids. Match the colors. So the red square goes into red square. Timer again 0.01. This is looping. So this timer I think is like, it will check this condition every 0.01 seconds. And here again, we will drag out the return value and promote to a variable. And we will call this variable open handle. Now, what I said before, that this blink value will be driving our shape key. What I meant is this one. So we have a shape key here. It's called eyes closed, and it's at 0. When we drag it to 1, her eyes will be closed. So if you look at it here, what this little part here says, basically, once this, we will close the lids. And once this value reaches 1, we will stop closing the lid. And then we will start opening it again. So we will again get our blink value. And now we are going to check if it is less or equal than 0. We'll just leave it at 0. We'll get another branch here. And this will be our condition. And if this is true, we will clear and invalidate timer by handle. So we have our clear and invalidate timer by handle. And this handle will be the open handle. So we'll say get. Oh, and I'm putting it on the wrong side. Open handle. So once the blink value reaches 0 again, it will stop this timer basically. And then we will do once again here. One, I still can't spell. Do once. And that one is right. And this one goes into the reset. And then after here, we will do a delay. So basically, once you have, closed your eyes and then opened them again, we will delay this before we will attempt to do this again. And how we are going to do that is by simply going at this arrow and just dragging it back in here. Now, if we double click this, we get another one of these a dot thingy, which we can then use to guide these lines to make it a little bit more readable. So at this moment, this delay is always 0.2 seconds. But I don't want that. I want it to be random. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to search for random floats. Oh, random float in range. We're going to connect those. And we're going to say that the random is somewhere between 2 and 10. And I think this means somewhere between 0.2 seconds and 10 seconds. Or something like that. So now that we have this, there is something, well, sort of missing. Because we don't actually have a way to make this blink value go up. That's where our false statements comes in. So we will drag out of our blink value again, and we will add an add, and we will put this add at point, well, not 0.01, 0.1. So we're basically saying we're going to add 0.1 to the blink value. So we will drag in the blink value, and this time we're not going to get it. We're going to set it. And we are going to say we will add 0.1 to the blink value if this condition is false. So again, it's going to check if the blink value is 1. If it's not, add 0.1 to your blink value. And because this set timer by event is looping, it is going to be checking every loop if this blink value is 1. And if it isn't, it's going to add 0.1 to it. So we're going to do the same here, only we're not going to add, we are going to subtract. And since you basically open your eyelids when blinking, you open your eyelids slower than you close them, we're going to add 0.06 instead of 0.1. And we're going to drag in our blink value and say set blink value. And then we're going to connect this to the false. So with the open lids timer by event, we are going to check if the blink value is less than or equal to 0. If it's not, add 0.06 to the blink value. Once it is 0, we'll go to true. We will clear the timer. And then we will do this once, which is a delay somewhere between 0.2 and 10 seconds. And after that, we will just go back to this timer, which will again start to check if our blink value is 1. And if it isn't, it will add 0.1 to our blink value. So this is a lot. I get that. So I'm going to box select all of these, press Z to create a comment. And in this comment, I'm just going to say blinking. So now at this point, this doesn't actually do anything because, well, it's not connected. So to make sure this does not give any errors once we connect these, I'm just going to get this one, say set the blink value. When this blueprint is initialized, we will set the blink value to 0. And after that, we will go and just start this timer. So now we still aren't here. We will go to the anim graph, and here in our modify curves, we're going to right click again, and we are going to say add curve, and we are going to look for eyes closed. Because, like I say, those are, this is the shape key, the morph target we will use for blinking. And then we are going to drag in our blink value. We say get, and we're just going to connect it. So in our event graph here, we are driving our blink value with these two custom events. And in our nim graph here, it will use, well, if it works, it will use the blink value to drive the shape key. So let's see. Now you can actually see here, now that we have compiled it, that this is actually working. It's just, it's not doing anything. You can see here the delay is going through, and then it will just instantly do everything. Okay. All right. So for the past hour, I've been pulling my hairs out because I had the animation blueprint and it just wasn't working. Luckily, I found this what was wrong, and um, yeah, it seems to have something to do with Unreal Engine 5.5 and the way we have imported our skeletal mesh. So let me quickly show you what's going on here. This is one of my other blueprints, one of my other avatars. And if you go and check her skeletal mesh, you will see that she has basically the same morph targets. And you can see that this one is at 1. And well, the eye is closed spike sometimes because her animation blueprint is working. If you go and check her skeleton and you go down here to curves, you can see that, well, you have all these curves and they have a check mark with morph targets. But if I go to our newly imported character in 5.5, she has the morph targets. But when I go to the skeleton mesh with the curves, it was blank. And so any and all modify curve animation blueprints activities that has to do with morph targets that I try to do with, well, simply it wouldn't work because apparently it uses this this skeletal mesh curves to do them. So, well, since I don't want to delete my character and try and re-import it with other settings to see if it works, you can add a curve manually if you want to. So if I, for instance, go to here and I want to add her smile, I can just right click, copy name, go back to the skeletal mesh, add curve, Control V, and then just say it's smile. It's not an ideal workflow if you have to manually add all of the morph targets you are using, but yeah, it is the solution to the problem I was having, why the morph targets weren't being used by the modify curves. So as you can see now, she is very, very slowly blinking. And that also has to do with that I was that I was trying to figure out what was wrong. So if I now go back to my event graph and I attach this again and put this back to 0.6 and this back to 0.1, compile and save, you can see that she is now blinking a lot faster. So yeah, I am hoping that this will save you a lot of headache and trouble, and hopefully in the future this thing will resolve itself. But for now, let's try and move on to the next part. All right, now that Sarai is blinking, I also want her to, randomly look around. The method I'm going to show you now is actually to do with the eye bones that I have in my character. So we are going to be manipulating those. So for this, we're going to write this as function that is sort of like this one, but it has a little bit more complicated math. To be honest, I again didn't do this myself. I had help from Hubby to get it to work. So yeah, I'm sorry if I can't explain exactly how this math works, but I will do my best. So we will start by adding two new variables, and we will make them integers. One I will call random v, and the second one I will call random h. So this is about moving your eye bones horizontally or vertically. So to start us off, I'm going to set random h and set random v. Dragging off from here, we're going to do a random integer in range. And we're going to say somewhere between -1 and 1. I said -1, 1. There we go. And we have the same one for this. So Control D. And this will also be somewhere between 1 and -1. So basically, we will randomize horizontally between 1 and -1 because 1 is left or right and -1 will be right or left. And with random h, it's like 1 is up and -1 is down. From here, we will start again with the set timer by event. And we will make a custom event again. And this event we will call move. I know it's not very descriptive, but let's just call it move ice. That might be better. Same as with the other one. We will have a branch. A branch. We will promote this to a variable, and we will call this variable look right, as in look right start. If this condition is true, we will clear and invalidate timer by handle. The handle will be the look s. So we will get look s. And now, before we go any further with this, let's just get started on the calculations we need to determine if the branch is true or false and move, rotate in this case, the bones for the eye. So for this, we are going to make a new variable. This will be a float, and we will call it eye move horizontal. So that's one. And we'll make another one for eye move vertical. All right, and I'll just put in some spaces here for readability. There we go. Okay. So now let's just first do the horizontal. So we will take our random h. We will get it. We will multiply it by, for my calculations for this avatar, 20. And then we are going to use something called an absolute integer. So it doesn't matter if it's minus or not. Like I said, I don't actually know how this works, but that's where the absolute comes in. Then we are going to check if it is less than or equal to. For this part, we are going to get our eye move horizontal. Get. We're going to be using absolute again. So basically, it's going to check if our random integer times 20 is the same as our horizontal eye movement. All right, so this is horizontal, but we also need vertical. So we'll get random v. We will multiply. This time it's by 10. We will use the absolute again. And the less equal. Okay. And we will use the eye move vertical. Get absolute again. And plug that in here. So now we have both of these. So we will combine these in an AND Boolean, I think. Let's just put this one at the end, that one at the top, and connect this here. Okay, so that is a little bit of math. But we're not there. We're not there yet because we also have our false condition, which in this case is going to be, we're going to set our horizontal and set our vertical. Like with the blinking, if these values aren't the right number yet for the rotation, then this branch will go to false and it will be added. So we'll just put this one here and connect this one as well. And then to add these, we're just going to drag it off of here. Use the plus, add, and we're going to add random H into this. Double click this and move it. And this one will go into horizontal. And we will do the same for the vertical plus and move this one to vertical. Double click to reroute, as they call it. This one, because it's 10 instead of 20, and we want it to be rotating as fast, we will go for a multiply. And we will multiply by 0.5. And we will drag this one in here, and that should work. So this is the first part of it done. So let's move on to the second part. So once the eyes are rotated towards the side, you want to clear and invalidate the handle. We will do this once. And we will reset this timer. In this case, we will add a delay here as well, so that the eyes will linger. And we will make this also random, float in range. And let's say somewhere between 0.2 seconds and 3. This of course all depends on what you want for your character. So once this delay is done, we will again set timer by event. And we will make another custom event for this. In this custom event, we will call move ice back. Okay, so again, branch for our if statement. When it's true, we want to clear and invalidate timer by handle. The handle will be this one, promote to variable. Let's call it look right v from back. And then we'll drag it here. We will say get. And this is our handle. So now let's work on our false condition again. We will take the move horizontal, get, and also the move vertical, get. We will be using the absolute again. We will drag off here and say equal, equal, if I can actually spell it right. Equal, and also here, equal. We will take our random age, get, and random v, get. So the v with the vertical and the h with the horizontal. Now we will have to go minus. So that is subtract. We will subtract our random h. And for the vertical also minus, so subtract. And here we will again have to multiply by 0.5. This one needs another AND boolean for these two. And then we will select all of these and move them back so that they go into the condition. And then when it's false, we will set our move I horizontal and our move I vertical. And we will set them by this number and this number. So once our condition reaches true and we want to clear and invalidate our timer by handle, we will do this once. We will reset this one. And we will do a delay again. Let's make this one random float in range as well. And let's do this somewhere between 2 and 10. And then we take our delay and plug it back into this one. So that the whole cycle will actually start all over again. All right, so yeah, this is a lot of mumbo jumbo. Select everything, C, and we will say this is the eye controller. Let's just call it eye move controller. But this one is not hooked up yet. So for that we have to add and change a couple of settings here. First of all, to make sure nothing goes wrong, we need to set random age to 0 and random V, the eye movement horizontal, and the eye movement vertical. We'll just make sure that when this we will just make sure that when this blueprint is run for the first time, we are resetting all of these to 0 as to not cause any problems. To make sure that both the blinking and the eye controller are activated, we're just going to use a sequence. So we will say sequence starts with 1 and then it goes to this one. And then, yeah, sorry, this is a huge mess. There we go. Let's save. So now we have done the event graph part, but we still need to do the animation graph part to actually tell the skeletal mesh to move her eye bones. So we'll make some room. And for this, we are going to use transform bone. Here we go. Transform modify bone. Yeah. All right. Let's first do let's see. They go somewhere between local to component. So we will just plug it right in between here. So here we will say which bone we want to modify. So let's start with the left eye. And then we can try and duplicate this one. Control D. Doesn't always work on the first try, but and the second one will be the right eye. And for this to work, we will need the eye move horizontal and the eye move vertical. So we're going to be manipulating rotation. Right click split pin. Do the same for the other one. Because we don't want all 3 of them to rotate, we just want 2 of them. And for me, it's the Y. For the horizontal and the Z for the vertical. All right, let's compile. And it gives us a warning. So let's see what it says. All right, so we got 2 warnings, and I checked it out with by other blueprints, and of course it is because I forgot to fill in some things here. So let's see. Scroll down a little bit, going to rotation, and we will put this on add to existing and bone space. Let's also do it for the other one. So in the details, scroll to rotation, add to existing, bone space. Let's compile, and the warnings have gone. So now let's see. Well, her blinking is definitely working, but she's not really looking around. And if we look here, we can clearly see that her eye controllers aren't initialized at all. So I checked my other controllers, and apparently it needs to be plugged into the set random V. And now we can see that it's routing through. And once it is routed through, it should be working, which it still isn't. Okay, so a couple of things we forgot. Timer endpoint 01, look here, looping, and let's also do that here, and looping. Now let's see what happens. It goes through, as you can see. So this part right here is working. So same as with the other, we need to reroute this one through here. Now let's see if something is working. I do see something working right now. As you can see, he is randomly looking up and down at least. We can see that the animation blueprint script is actually running. And if we look here, you can actually see the values, as in the blink value going up and down, the random V and random H jumping from zeros to ones or minus ones. And then you can see the values from the horizontal and vertical here, depending on your own, the rotations of your own bones. You might want to adjust these values as well as the multiplier. You can also, for more randomness, change these random range delays for how long she will be looking a certain direction. Of course, I'm saying she because this is a female character, but you have a male character, how long he will be looking. And same goes here. You can change the random floats here if you want her or him to be looking around faster or slower. So that's it for this animation blueprint. I am going to be cleaning up how this looks a bit because I don't like it when it's this messy. But yeah, basically this is my setup for the animation blueprint as I am going to be using it. And thank you for watching, and I hope you will join me for the next one. Bye.